Five Nights at Freddy's doesn't feel scary anymore to me. Over time, the series has fallen more into simply jump scaring the player and expecting some over-the-top reaction to a simple PNG. It's generally because I myself have gotten very used to these kinds of games, and honestly, saying that a fan game is scary or not scary, it's entirely subjective. Another man's Dead Space is another man's Bendy in the Dark Revival. Though today's video is rather interesting, as after playing this little fan game myself, I do solemnly believe that this is possibly one of the scariest FNAF fan games currently out there. Now, yes, I know what I just said about everything being scary is subjective, but just hear me out for this video, alright? Speaking of this video, it would mean the world to me if you could hit the subscribe button. We're just about to hit 10k, so join the cool kids club and subscribe. Now, let's cut the chit chat and get around to Oh look guys, it's everyone's favourite Bendy knockoff. Fizz, wait, you're not Fiznom.
Well, technically I am. Just that I've come from an alternate reality.
Oh my Christ, he has a text-to-speech voice.
Hell yeah, I do.
So, what are you here for, considering if you were the real Fiznom, you probably would have baited me into some D's nuts joke by now.
I'm here to help your sorry ass out.
Dude, with what video? I've done like over 20 of these at this point, without anyone's assistance.
Fine, I'll leave. Thanks for nothing. I roll the dragon looking son of a bitch.
Fine, you can stay. Just none of this secondary plot shenanigans. I don't do that kind of shit on this channel, right?
Alright, fine. You got yourself a deal.
Thank you. Now, let's get over into A Shadow Over Freddy's. Oh no, wait, I meant a... over Freddy's.
That wasn't funny at all.
Shut up. Alright, so our game begins with some text to set the mood. You wake up in a small dark room, laying down on a cold checkered floor with your back against a wall. Feeling like hell, your mouth tastes like copper. Wait, what does copper even taste like?
I don't know. Copper. Dumbass.
What did I just say about no secondary plot shenanigans? Put a fucking cork in it, yeah? And there's nothing but the low buzz of a metal fan. Gradually, your eyes begin to open, muscles trembling as they try to stretch and contract. Your memory is foggy and your head throbs. Failing to recall any information that might shed light on your current situation, your body reacts faster than your brain. Picking itself up off the floor, using a desk nearby, you grab a light source and begin to look around to regain your bearings. A lifeless husk of a building reveals itself to you through the cone of the flashlight. Dust and cobwebs lining every corner, crumpled up papers, cups and black stains covering the floor. Drips of water seeping through the rotten wooden ceiling. The layout is familiar to you, but its walls aren't nearly as inviting or friendly. Your chest feels heavy with dread, much like a man to be hung at the gallows. The first coherent thoughts that enter your head urge you to leave as soon as possible. Leave immediately, before the shadows that have devoured this abandoned building come to consume you as well. Welcome to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. It's great to have you back home. That was quite bone-chilling. Really like that little briefing. Gets to the point, you know? Oh, and because of that, it's great to have you back home bit. 10 quid right now says that I am playing as Bill Afton. So now the actual game itself. So unlike a good chunk of free roam FNAF games, this one stays within FNAF's more simplistic nature, that being a point and click. Every night you're given an objective to complete, and obviously finishing that said objective will progress you through to the next night. And likewise, you have the Freddy crew that will actively hunt you down. So it's Pretty much sister location, but it's actually good. So on night 1, it's a fairly simple and easy task, we just need to find the exit. Night 1 functions as a tutorial night, allowing the player to familiarize themselves with the location. Freddy is active, but he only will kill you if you don't find the exit before 6 AM. I like the switch up with this real quick, now that, you know, usually in FNAF, 6 AM is like hallelujah, but it's now basically LMAO, get fucked, scrub. So now we wrap up night 1, let's talk about the visual style, because just in case you haven't opened your eyes yet, the game definitely has a visual style. Visually, this game is nothing special. The locations, animatronics aren't exactly stylized, but really, the things that do make this distinct is, first, the color, and the fact that there is practically no color. It strictly sticks to whites, greys, and blacks, something like a classic horror film. And the second thing is that the entire place is completely shrouded in darkness, which means, just in case you can't see, I'll spell it out for you. You can't see. This in turn makes the setting feel very unsettling, which is something that FNAF hasn't exactly done in a while, almost 8 years specifically. If you saw my original FNAF 1 video, Don't It Sucks, I talked about how FNAF used to have a bit of an atmosphere, an uneasy atmosphere. So, for those who may be a little confused, FNAF 1 I feel had a great atmosphere that really sold the game. And obviously that atmosphere was kind of lost as we got more FNAF installments. Basically, what I mean is that the atmosphere is god tier. Let's finish up night 1. So before advancing to night 2, we have this optional story. Obviously I did want to hear it, nice of you to add a decline option though. The puppet, yes it's the puppet, will tell us a story about this kid who plays with toys all by himself. Sounds pretty sad. When the family dog joins in and nicks one of the toys, the story says the dog's excited to play, but well, based on the illustration given, I'd beg to differ. Honestly, that dog looks like he's on some next level. So yeah, dog's having fun when the kid kills the dog by taking the toy out of his... how the fuck does that work? Whatever. And then he just sort of dips with his toy and leaves the dog to die. Wow, that's dark. Holy shit. No surprise Fizznom has to see pets on his Twitter. Probably still has trauma writing that. I don't blame him though. I would have felt gutted after killing off a dog in a story. And secondly, what a way to start, killing off a dog. Considering that this story is supposedly to clear my memory, I'm even more convinced that we're playing as Afton, so raise that 10 quid up to 20. Night 2 finally begins, and it's here where Bonnie is introduced, and is a genuine threat unlike Freddy. Bonnie has like 2 methods of attacking the player. The first revolves around sound. Now you need to be more cautious about traversal, because Bonnie could be in the next area, where you end up getting jump scared. So you need to listen out for breathing, which... how can they even breathe? They're robots. So the second option Bonnie has is entering the room you're currently in. You can tell because you can hear him groaning. If you do, you need to shine the light on him until he leaves, in which then it is safe to proceed. One thing I did notice as I was playing the game is that he has a bit of a patrol area. I believe he patrols the outer rim of the dining area, so it is completely possible to avoid him entirely. I did die to him though, and honestly, the jump scares got me quite a bit, which is something I never really felt in a long time with this series. I only got killed by Bonnie though. Yeah, I know, the jump scares are cheap, but I'm willing to give this one a pass because of the atmosphere. Look, if you're gonna do jump scares, then do it like Simon. He knows what's up. The other ones are cool as well. Foxy's, though, does remind me of a certain thumbnail. Honestly, him trying to do cool and edgy reminds me of the plot to Pac-Man World 3, where the game is a lot darker in tone, but then you remember you play as this the entire time, and it all falls apart. This night's objective is to listen for the music, obviously showing the player the importance of listening. You need to find all these boxes and also avoid Bonnie as he is, you know, an actual active threat, and then you move on to night 3. So the story this time is an aftermath of the previous, where the dog unfortunately kicked the bucket, may he rest in peace, Honestly, if that were John Wick's dog, you'd probably be already dead. So the kid is sleeping and there's a storm going on outside when he notices a shadow of an animal. Wow, I couldn't imagine what kind of animal it would be. And it turns out it's the shadow of a dog. Whoa, who would have guessed? The kid follows the shadow where the dog was buried and the toy robot starts moving around. And since this is Five Nights at Freddy's, that means the dog has now inherited the little toy robot. Night 3 now introduces Chica into the mix, and she functions exactly the same as Bonnie pretty much. But the game does say she does move a little slower, I couldn't exactly tell. She also has a patrolling area like Bonnie does. She patrols the inside of the dining area, basically making that Night 2 safe spot not so safe anymore. You can still avoid it completely. Night 3's objective is to enter the kitchen, which you can find a key in the back room, which gets us to the kitchen. Really like how it teases us with an actual FNAF 1 kitchen, but curb your expectations, children, because it's just a bunch of hanging spaghetti. The next story is underway, where, okay, look, I graduated high school like a year and a half ago, I just got away, don't drag me back into this shit. Anyway, the story now tells us about the kid we were dealing with earlier, but now he's a teenager, and has basically isolated himself to research the unnatural. This story tells us about how he used his dad as a lab rat to try and recreate the same event that happened with the dog and toy robot. So he messed with his car so that he would purposefully crash the car and die, and hopefully would garner the same result as the dog did, but didn't get as much results. So he was pretty frustrated. Okay, just give me my 20 at this point, because it's William for sure. Also, obviously, the puppet was joking about the quiz taking. Yeah, like it would be difficult. Like, the question would be, what did this kid do in the first story? And one of the answers would have been just committed numerous war crimes anyway. Oh, look who's back. It's the 3 AM challenge, Slime.
What's on? Emperor.
Please never call me that.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm kind of in the middle of something right now, so here, I have this to distract you. For the rest of the video, since you don't seem to be exactly helping me, like you said you would earlier.
Why are you making me watch this playlist consisting of Foxy and Mangle content?
Because I hate you. Now go watch the playlist or something, I got a video to finish. On to Night 4, where Foxy will finally join us. His whole gimmick revolves around Pirate's Cove. Nice touch, by the way. I like how he still uses Pirate's Cove as a gimmick, with him basically working like how he does in the first game. You just need to frequently check on it, and if not, he will hunt you down relentlessly until he catches up to you and jump scares you. So he takes a lot of big priority. This night you must collect 5 pieces of a Freddy plushie, with one of each part being within the location. Finding all the pieces ends the night, where we get our next story and finally move on to Night 5. So this story basically retells the events of that one FNAF 2 minigame, basically confirming that yes, we are definitely playing as William Afton. Like, who would have guessed? Look, I'll be taking that 20 now, thank you very much. The puppet tells us to go to hell, and then we push on to Night 5. So obviously this is the final night, and it is a bit of a challenge. Obviously the area, as you can clearly see, is now red instead of white, making it a lot harder to see. And secondly, the layout of the area is not exactly the same as before, it completely switches up. The player will be just plonked in random areas, so Bonnie and Chica do function slightly differently, as they don't have their normal patrol routes. They still have the same general mechanics though, listening and using the flashlight. Foxy would seem like an absolute piece of shit, but he's actually not that bad, considering that Night 5 is the shortest night in the game, which in turn now makes Freddy a threat, now that 6 AM comes much faster. The night will finish once we make our way to the bathroom and enter the safe room. Obviously, we're playing as William Afton, you know what happens next when he enters that goddamn safe room. William gets in the spring Bonnie suit and dies, and then we get the last story from the puppet telling us that this is basically our own personal hell. Basically just sort of dumping the big lore shit, revealing that it was UCN all this time. Well, UCN but better, in a way. And the puppet tried to at least give us a chance at redemption, but gives up by this night. It took you 5 whole nights just to come to that conclusion. You know, considering that he's killed more than 5 children without showing any remorse. And then, well, the puppet just leaves us here to rot for the rest of eternity, ending the game. Now, there is a good ending to this game, and honestly, this one's honestly not even worth it, like, at all, really. To get it, you need to find all the plushies that are hidden in the restaurant, 1 plushie for every night. All you get for this ending is the same ending, but you just don't get trapped in the springlock suit. The night just ends normally and that's it. Honestly, I feel that the normal ending was much more satisfying, considering the fact we were playing as a literal child murderer throughout the entire game. Speaking of, how about that story, eh? Well, it's kinda like UCN, but instead it's the aftermath of FNAF 3 as opposed to FNAF 6. So basically, like I said, the ending for Five Nights at Freddy's that was long overdue. Yeah, it sounds about right. It's pretty easy to follow, actually. It's not too confusing. Like I said, it gets to the point. Well, I mean, it's a little confusing if you haven't even played the first 3 games, but as long as you have played and understood the first 3 games' story, overall, it's a really enjoyable aftermath of FNAF 3 and the last 2 games. There we have it, eh?
Where's that damn 4th Chaos Emerald?
Over Freddy's. Yeah, this game's great. It's simple, gets to the point, and is probably the most scared I felt in years since playing the original Five Nights at Freddy's back in 2014. The gameplay just feels like what FNAF 4 and or Sister Location probably should have been as opposed to what they are now. The story is simple, easy to follow, and like the first time, I actually enjoyed a FNAF story. You know, come to think of it, I wonder if this game is going to have any effect of, oh my god, look who's back. You enjoyed the playlist?
Not exactly. Why the hell do people even do this?
Well, I don't know. It's like the Sonic fanbase, only younger, and that's really about it.
Well, alright, we're getting off track. Now that I was a massive help making this video.
By help, you mean piss me off the entire video? Yeah, sure, whatever.
Asterisk, clear throat, asterisk. I decided that I would introduce you to a friend of mine.
Wait, you actually have friends?
Well, yeah, no shit. Don't you have any friends?
No.
It's okay, bro. I feel you.
Oh, that was like the nicest thing you said to me. Hello. Oh, Jesus H. Crisps. Hello, I'm Smart Moth. Care to explain?
This is my friend, Smart Moth.
Okay, cool. Smart Moth, piss off. Okay. That means you too, goo boy.
Fuck you. I'll be back whenever you cover pork chops or 1/2 plus releases.
I believe that's the last I'll see of him. Follow me on Twitter, links are provided within the description. I'm gonna need a minute to process what just happened today. So have a good one, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.
I tell you what though, folks, that's bloody nice. That is really... That is bloody lovely.